Hi, everyone. Welcome to Spirit Guide Chat. I'm Jake. Welcome back. And those of you who are new, welcome to Spirit Guide Chat again. I do weekly tarot readings on current events. Um, Anybody who's watching this, if you're returning or new, please feel free to leave comments and to hit that subscribe button too to help my channel out. Also, check out the community post that I do a few days prior to the Thursdays, typically the day I do that. On the community board, you'll see me if I change my schedule on when I do these videos, but like I said, typically it's Thursday. And also an opportunity to leave questions for me to ask for this week's reading. Okay, to kind of go back from last week, what just happened today? Today is Thursday, the 21st of May, 2026. The Democrats released their autopsy report, as they call it, for about the 2024 election. So, what we're hearing right now is that there's a lot of blame on Biden, a lot of blame on Harris's campaign. I kind of peruse. You can go online; they have it out there, and it's not filtered, it's not edited. So they're saying the Democratic Party is saying they don't agree with this autopsy, which I don't know what they don't agree about. Um, there are aspects that I can say that I think that were issues like um, Biden leaving the race or choosing to run again after he said that he was planning to pass the baton. Also, that he waited so long to drop out of the race as well. The party, not deciding not to do a primary or abbreviated primary or doing something. It was just there were some mistakes and plus messaging. I mean, people from no matter what affiliation have stated that the messaging was bad during that time. However, um, and there has been no indication that they do know about the mishandling of the election, mishandling for entertainment purposes only, or the cheating that went on the Trump side of the election. Now, there's a possibility when we can that the party heads know that it was manipulated, and that's why they're saying this report is garbage because of what they know. We can ask that. I do have a question about that, about how it affects will it's going to affect the midterms going forward, and also I'm going to do the follow up because I just came up to my mind again and I forgot earlier. Um, So let me first talk about Cuba's coming up again. They have charged President Castro, the former president of Cuba, uh, with crimes for a downing of some U.S. planes like 30 years ago. There's also been the Supreme Court has stated that businesses that were seized during the revolution in Cuba that they can sue for the seizing of their assets. But I want to look again to see if the United States will invade Cuba. And I have a follow-up question. So let's just start there. Will the United States invade Cuba? Will the United States invade Cuba? United States invade Cuba. We've been continuing, if you did not know, there's been a blockade. They've been doing, um, they've been running out of fuel and electricity because of that. So we start off with the Two Pentacles. they're making decisions right now. They're going back and forth whether on what to do. The high priestess is on his side. Um, it's these are selfish reasons and secretive reasons why they're doing this. Remember, our Secretary of State Marco Rubio has is descendant from his parents are from Cuba, and so he has skin in this game. This has always been his little project that he wanted, even before he became Secretary of State. And the foundation is to bring, in regards to this administration bringing harmony to the island. They've been contemplating on what to do with Cuba with the Four of Swords. Um, and there's been some hard work being done to rev up a plan. The Knight of Pentacles. What's coming up soon? I feel like this may not be a direction because so far we're not getting any kind of swords or even wands in here indicating an invasion. I think they're wanting a financial deal agreement. That's what it mainly is. I mean, isn't it all with all these wars? And there's some positivity on some kind of financial deal. We have the Queen of Swords. There's some kind of clear boundaries they're going to give Cuba on what they can do, meaning maybe they have to get rid of their government, something like that. They're going to force them to do. They're hoping for an ending with this Death card, and no, there's not going to be an military invasion with the Nine of Swords. No, because I think this changed because of the whole Iran situation. If Iran would have been like Venezuela, where it was quick, we probably would have been saying something else. So my follow-up question is the current president, Miguel Diaz-Canel Bermudez, and he goes by President Diaz-Canel. I want to take a look if the president of Cuba is going to be forced to step down, or he will be arrested a la the Venezuela process. Is the United States going to force the president of Cuba to step down? Will the United States force the current president of Cuba to step down? The moon card, things coming out from the surface. Ooh, we're getting some jumpers today. Yeah, there's going to be some kind of Three of Swords pain, and I'm feeling like that's the Cuban people are going to feel, because remember, even though that they're suffering there, sometimes they want to do them. People request people still have support of their government. There are still individuals there, and sometimes they don't want other outsiders to, when they haven't asked for help, to come in and tell them this is who is going to be running your country and whatnot. So let's take a look here. We have the Seven of Pentacles here. Something's been planting, some seeds been planted. The Judgment card's being crossed with this. There's some self doubt about whether they can pull this off. The United States can pull this off. You're thinking about the families as the foundations. Again, I am sure with anything dealing with Cuba, Marco is the Secretary of State. Marco Rubio is involved with this and thinking about families. In the past, we have the Ace of Pentacles. Uh, they're trying to figure out how to move forward with this, with the Two of Swords. I'm getting the sense that they do want to get rid of it. The Hermit cards in the near future. Meditating and searching through this. The Knight of Swords. So there's a big drive to do this. They're trying to figure out how to pull this off. The Tower card. They want this sudden change to happen. The Emperor in the hopes and fears. And then balancing decisions, trying to go which way. And that indicates is yes, and it's going to happen fast when they do it. So I feel like that this is they're wanting to do it, and um, they're going to get rid of the president there in Cuba. So not militarily, they're not going to invade, but they're going to figure out a way to get rid of him. Um, I want to move on for time. We can revisit that unless something tragic or something suddenly happens within the next week. But um, note again to the invasion of Cuba, but yes, they're going to get rid of the current president of Cuba through either a financial deal or or through like a CIA mission or military mission that gets rid of him, arrests him, or whatnot. All right, let's take a look at Iran, and then we'll move on to more domestic things. With if the U.S. is planning to do more strikes in Iran. Now, the Orange One has done some rants on Truth Social, nothing surprising there. He mentioned that he was planning to rev up attacks on Iran, and he had to step back from those statements. So let's see if we are planning. Will there be airstrikes in Iran? Well, here's the Five of Cups. I feel like they do, but there's current loss. Too many cards. There's like a bunch of cards there. Ah, cards, cards and me. So there's some kind of trickery going on because they want the financial opportunities with the oil because the agreement. So there hasn't been an agreement with Iran's set, and they want to get their attention through force. But let's see if it's going to actually happen. So they want things to be moving fast with the Chariot card. They're tired. I mean, this is not surprising. The orange one, does not like to be in a prolonged fight, war, whatever you want to call it. The Chariot card's there. What's the challenge is the Empress. And I feel there's some kind of block here. And I wonder if it's Russia that's causing some interference with Iran, working with them. But there's strength still to get things done in the foundation. Three of Wands are in the past, preparing, making progress. There's just a lot of fighting going on. I'm not talking about um, like military fighting. I'm talking about what to do, what should we do with the Five Wands, and especially in the administration. It's a poop show, you know. We have the Seven of Pentacles popping up again, something that's being waiting for things to go their way, but it's been a lot of hard work because of this fighting with the Five of Wands, the Ten of Wands. It's taking forever, and then here we go with the planning coming. The Two of Wands, Page of Swords. They're hoping for some new ideas to come in. No, they're not going to do more airstrikes. There's too busy fighting, infighting between the Iranians, between internal stuff within the current administration here, and it's just a hot mess. It's just a hot mess. They're not going to strike because there's just too much other things going on. Okay. Let's go first. Let's focus on some of the Republican stuff, and then we'll go to the autopsy last. So let's take a look at some of these. We had Bill Cassidy recently lost his primary, Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana. And then we had Congressman Thomas Massie of Kentucky lose his primary. And I think there's some others. I'm just not thinking. Let's take a look to see, and there's still primaries coming up. So let's just see if the members of Congress who lose their primary will go against Trump's agenda. And I know Trump is also trying to get someone primary, Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, too, out of Colorado. So let's see, take a look if the members of Congress who lose their primary this election season, will they go against Trump's agenda? Whoa. I swear I have butterfingers today. Swear I had butterfingers today. Okay, let's take a look here. Ah, what do we start out with? Endings, death card here. Endings change. So things are going to change with these individuals that lose their primary, Republicans. What's crossing this? The Ace of Pentacles. They lost their opportunity to continue on. So, I believe that this is how in the present, how they're feeling, that they feel like what they've been planning, they plan it, it's not coming to fruition. They've had anxiety in the recent past over their primaries, so the Nine of Swords, Moon. They're going to bring stuff out of the surface. They know stuff, and they're going to have more courage and confidence with the Queen of Wands. Um, and I just feel like with the Ten of Pentacles, there's going to be stuff coming out. It's talking about family and stuff. There's going to be Epstein stuff, I believe. There's also going to be money stuff that's going to come out. They're going to be action driven because they're going to have the 7 months left. So they'll still have plenty of time to cause trouble for him. They're hoping for collaborations with the Three of Cups. And yes, this is a huge yes card with the star card. Huge, huge, huge. Very positive. Yes, yes, yes. The Republicans who lose their primary will go against Trump, which is a good thing, right? And I know I feel the same way. Is that it's like now they're doing this when they could have done this and probably won their primary. But it is what it is, right? Kind of thing. But that's a resounding yes in regards to that. So speaking of these members of Congress in the Republican side who didn't win, let's look at Congressman Thomas Massie of Kentucky, who, like I said, this past Tuesday lost his primary for re-election. Let's take a look if first, will his loss cause his seat in Kentucky, I forget which district it is, will Thomas Massie's seat flip to the Democrats at midterms? Will Thomas Massie's seat in Kentucky flip to Democrats this November? Good. The Sun card. I feel like even though he lost, there's a lot of positivity in regards to his loss. Not that he was a hated person, I would say overall. I think his opinions from a lot of people, especially outside his district, has been more positive, even though I don't agree with very few of his policies. King of Pentacles is on his side. Um, there's just a lot of greed going on right now, so that's the issue that they as voters want to get rid of. And the Fool, this is seen as a new opportunity for the Republicans, new opportunity for Democrats to get the seat. Because what's in the past? Trump's in the past here. They want more balance, the voters there, temperance. They're just not for sure how to move forward. I'm not for sure who's running on the Democrat side, how he or she is, but there is going to be some kind of unity with the Two of Cups. There's going to be possibly massy Republicans that might not like the Republican that has been chosen. Again, I don't remember his name. I know it's a male. Um, that Trump has backed. Um, Nine of Pentacles, finances, people, the voters' finances are, of course, is going to be, they want to have financial independence. The Hangman's in the hopes and fears. They're hoping that there will be a new perspective to look. And this is a maybe with the High Priestess. They're going to but then there's going to be Three of Swords that's saying no, and but it's going to be much closer than it is with the Five of Wands. So I'm saying that no, it's going to be on go for the Republicans. However, I think it's going to be closer than if Massie was the Republican candidate. Okay. One more follow up on Thomas Massie. I want to look at here. I want to look at if Thomas Massie plans to run in 2028 for president. Does Thomas Massie is he going to run in 2028 for president? He run for president, Thomas Massie. I mean, okay, so in the presently the Five of Pentacle. I mean, he spent a lot of money during this time, and that's the biggest thing that on his mind. The Hangman is there is going to be some kind of he's indecisive right now, even though in the speech that his concession speech, which really wasn't a concession speech if you go watch it, he has a very positive outlook. The foundation is the Emperor Trump, of course, is on his mind. He recently worked very hard on his reelection campaign, and the Ace of Cups. He knows it's a new beginning, and there are people already whispering in his ears to do so. And he's full of emotions right now, so he wants to take his time and think. But there is strength behind his candidacy, or his push to, or let me rephrase that. What I'm feeling is that the people really believe that want him to run really have strength in regards to convincing him. He's going to very much think about it and pray on this with the High Priestess. Um, I think he leaning towards doing this. The Nine of Cups. He's hoping to work together with people with the Two of Cups. Yeah, the Ten of Cups. Here's the voters, and yeah, and there is going to be a segment of the voters, that Republican voters, maybe even some independents, that will be excited for his candidacy. But yeah, so we'll probably see him run in 2028. Okay. Now let's do the autopsy. And I have a couple questions on that. And we'll do a final message for everyone out there. Again, a brief reminder, please hit that subscribe button, leave comments. I appreciate it. I would love the channel to continue to grow. My last few videos had some good views. I just hope that people hit that subscribe button if you're watching these, and I appreciate the support. All right. The first thing is, again, I predicted this last week about that the autopsy was going to be released. So, will this autopsy, the Democratic autopsy, have an effect on how Democrats run their campaigns going forward in the midterm? Will this change how the Democrats run their campaigns going forward with the midterms and even in 2028 and beyond? Let's take a look at that. Will this be an improvement? Okay, so we start out with the Hangman. So this gives Democrats a pause and begin to look at things differently. Okay, because the Emperor's on his side. Um, That's the obstacle. The party wants to be very controlling about how to do things. But I'm getting the feeling that there are, especially a lot of new candidates, are like, but we want to do it differently than what you're telling us to do it. Um, here's it's a younger group in the younger people in the Democratic Party wants to do something more creative and different. In the past, there was the partnership between, I feel like the two cups, the partnership between the party and candidates. Um, the Nine of Cups is crowning the reading. I feel like this is represents the party. You know, they're content. They have their arms crossed. They're like, we know what's best. We know what to do, and they're not open to change. But there is strength for the Democrats, and there is some preparing. So 3 of Wands. So this indicates that there are changes that are going to be made due to this. Um, there is going to be a little bit of fighting in because there's going to be other ideas. This with the 7 of Wands, you can kind of see this individual is representing what I'm feeling is representing the Democratic Party, and these are other people's ideas here. The 4 of Cups. The fear is that the Dems don't want to look at what the autopsy really is saying. The 5 of Cups is there is a no, saying that they're not. However, I wouldn't put this is a broad overview. I'm not saying that nobody is, because there are two, I think a lot of people are going to be more view this as a negative than an opportunity, which the 2 of Cups are showing the opportunity to do better, right? There is abundance with them, but it's with the Emperor's card, and it's going to take a lot of hard work with the 10 of Wands in order to be better for the voters with the 10 of Cups. So, again, I believe there are a lot of the younger candidates with the Page of Cups that are going to make changes. I think some of the establishment, you'll see them doing the same old baloney, and not really listening. I think the people that are smart are going to be those candidates, the younger ones, or the ones that say, "Hey, let's make the changes." Um, Okay. So let's look at to see if the party officials are not agreeing. This is the question I added. If they're not agreeing with this autopsy because they're aware of the cheating slash manipulation of the 2024 election. So is it the main reason why they're not agreeing on this autopsy is because they know that the 2024 election was manipulated? Let's take a look if that's the main reason. Or a reason. I should say a reason. Okay. So we're starting out with the devil, the shadow, the destructive behavior that happened. 5 of Swords. We're talking about the past the past manipulation. They know that this is already, see, there's the financial loss, the loss of the election. And here we go. In the past, the 7 of Swords. So right off the bat, Spirit is already saying there was some manipulation going on in the 2024 election. They want some calm with the Queen of Cups. I think, especially cups are a slow moving thing. I think they've been taking their time in processing this information. However, there's what's in the near future, and this is great to see the Wheel of Fortune, that there is a good karmatic turn of events that are happening with the Democrats there, and it's coming fast with the seven, or excuse me, the Chariot card. I'm seeing the number 7. um, and bring back some of the happier times with the 6 of Cups. They're hoping for a celebration with the 4 of Wands and 6 of Wands. Yes, they are seeing that there was manipulation, and this is why, one of the main reasons why they're not accepting this autopsy. Okay. So that there goes that. But I mean, come on, like these cards that we start out with, the devil, the five of swords, the five of pentacles, the seven of swords. These are all manipulation cards, destructive cards. So I mean, spirits doing loud and clear, like there was stuff that went down in the 2024 election, and they know it. But they're slow moving because I mean, think about this. When this comes out, it's going to be devastating to, because we've never had something like that before. We're moving on to oracle cards. Okay. So I went to this spirit fest at this near me. It's at this place, spiritual organization called Camp Chesterfield in Chesterfield, Indiana. I live in Indiana. I bought this at the bookstore there. It's called Queen of the Moon Oracle cards, and I love these cards. They're very beautiful. Here's the backside, the phases of the moon, and then look how beautiful the artwork is in on these oracle cards. So for the general message, and when I'm using oracle cards, I usually do 3 cards at a time and then I continue on to expand on that to get a full story, okay? Well, I feel that Spirit is done. So, Spirit, a general message to all of the viewers out there. What you believe is an important message that everyone should hear. Okay. So we start off with the focus card, focusing on what? Realization, manifestation, realization of new beginnings. So we kind of already talked about this with what's going on in this world. This is why it's been rough. We're going through a lot of changes that will lead to new beginnings, which is the new moon card. And then continuing on, right now, we're feeling this void right now. And it's hard to focus. It affects the focus, and it's right being placed underneath the focus card. Realization of the unexpected. In the beginnings, we're talking about beginnings of wisdom, beginnings of learning new things, new ideas, new perspectives, okay? And we need to release ourselves from this void, okay? In order to get our focus and nourishment. These realizations of the unexpected realizations will lead to our nourishment spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and new beginnings of new ways with wisdom will lead to balance, bringing back the balance back in our life. So very beautiful message from Spirit. I appreciate it. So thank you, Spirit. And thank you all again. Like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, bye bye.